We'll hear the intro. Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show, and a very special edition, as you can already see, because we got big time. I mean big. We have heavyweight boxer Drake Banks right here. Phil Alessi, promoter, longtime boxing promoter. Timmy is back in our Dallas studio. Yes, let's hear the crowd. Yeah. So we'll get to him in a little bit, but we're going to talk some local boxing here. We're going to get to the Bucs. OC continues with some local names as they look inside. We'll talk some Bolts, and of course the Rays signed a shortstop. So good morning to you both, Drake and Phil. Thank you guys for coming into the studio. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, we got a big fight coming up. Phil, I'll start with you. A fight poster right here. I love this. This is an old-time fight poster right here. You got a great event coming up. Drake's going to be the main event. Tell me all about this. Gloves and Roses for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, just mix it up a little bit and have a little fun with it for the ladies. It is a ladies' event for those who really don't know. We do get a nice crowd of women, and we're gonna do something special for them for Valentine's Day. We're going to theme it out to Valentine's, starting off with the gloves and roses.
Gloves and Roses. I like this, yeah.
So we're going to have something a little special for the women and the ladies there. And, it's going to be a really nice event.
All right, we'll get into the details of that, and it's coming up. I haven't made your plans yet. And I'll just go ahead and reveal this, Drake, because I asked my wife. I was very, very hesitant to ask my wife about taking her to a boxing match on Valentine's. I know it's like, don't you get enough sports? She's so excited about going to this thing to see you fight, Drake, from Homosassa Springs, local Tampa Bay guy. Drake, welcome to the show, and just tell me a little bit about how excited you are. This is kind of you've done some big time international boxing. You're 8-0 now as a professional. This event, though, locally here with all your friends and family, how cool will this be?
It's phenomenal. We get together a lot of our community down just from Citrus County, and they show a lot of support. But it's always good to pull from Tampa. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like Phil was saying, the show in general is great because it's on Valentine's Day. It's something different. The ladies and even the gentlemen can still dress up if they want to. It's an upscale event at the Hilton there, so it's great. It'll be a great time. A lot of excitement.
So tell me a little bit about your journey growing up in Homosassa. I mean, you guys can't tell. He's a legit 6'4". What are you at, 240 now, 250?
240, 250.
You fight at 240?
Yeah. Yep.
So what got you interested in boxing?
I grew up in it. And I've always been interested in martial arts, and boxing technically is just another martial art, just like Taekwondo is primarily kicks, boxing's mainly hands. And so that's kind of how it worked. My dad wanted to make sure my brother, sister, and I could defend ourselves as we were growing up.
Because Homosassa is a rough.
Everybody's real, kick back with their flip flops on. So my dad came from a rough area, and so he just wanted to make sure we could always defend ourselves.
That's awesome.
Where we went, and whoever we encountered, no matter what, because you just never know what happens.
Right.
And so ended up choosing boxing. My sister followed suit, fell in love with the sport, and kind of carried it on. She was a national champion.
Wow.
Competed all throughout the state.
Is she older than you?
She is. She's third. I think she's turning 30 this year. So she and then I'm turning 25 and 24 now. So she competed all over the state. Was a pioneer for a lot of women's boxing early on.
Awesome.
One of her first goals was to compete in the Olympics in 2012 when they first allowed women's in the Olympics. So didn't quite get there, but still went after it.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
I kind of when I started turning 14 or 15, I started coming into my own and holding my own with a lot of people who were more experienced, had maybe were bigger, were older. We were sparring and moving with men when I was just a teenager. So from there, from 14, 15 into 6, I continued to train and stay consistent. And then I started competing on a national level. and doing well. And then I ended up competing internationally, doing well, was a continental gold medalist, and fought in 2 other international competitions overseas.
Nice.
Yeah, I fought in a couple Olympic trials qualifiers. This is just my amateur. Represented the state of Florida in the National Golden Gloves in Oklahoma in 2021. And then I had my last amateur fight at the end of the beginning of 2023. End of 2023 in September. That's when we signed with Phil, and I started my professional career.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. The natural question is, how long did it take her?
Yeah.
And how many times did she whoop your ass?
That's her. That's her claim to fame.
Dad's over there a lot.
That's her claim to fame. It probably when I was about 13, I had started to.
I was going to ask
I
you.
hit puberty, testosterone started growing. I grew up a little bit, and then from there, it was for years.
Yeah.
She had that crown for a while, so a lot.
So that's hilarious. Phil, what you've obviously backed a lot of boxers. What's special about Drake?
Well, what's special about Drake and his background and his family is first and foremost the character. All the characteristics, not only being is of a champion. This kid is the work ethic is just so unreal, and the drive that he has, is becoming, just something that his dad's instilled in him, and it becomes natural to him. But the biggest thing is the integrity, the character. What the appreciation for what. It's not about how good he is or how great he is, and how much money he can make us. That's him first and foremost. If they bring those to the table, first you have the character,
Mm-hmm.
you have the desire and appreciation to what we bring to what we bring to the table. And this young man has all of that, and I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud as far as being a promotional, and it's more than that too. It's family.
It sounds like it,
Yeah.
and Dad's here as well, and I can tell there's a strong family bond there,
Really.
and that's where it all comes from. Tell me a little bit about how your dad has helped you.
Oh, my dad has done everything. It's I gotta hold myself.
Oh,
I
love it.
I wouldn't be able to do everything I can if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
So
it's all right. You can get choked up. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And you noticed that, Phil, I'm guessing, when you first met the whole clan,
Day
right?
one.
Yeah.
And I think they recognize the same with myself, because we bring that to the table.
Of course.
It was almost like an instantaneous bond.
Yeah.
And of course, relationships, it takes time, and they get stronger and stronger. And our relationship has been bar none, where it's just the trust factor, the just knowing that safety's number one.
Yeah.
Because they've instilled that in our heads, and it goes without saying, this is sport, and it can get deadly.
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
not careful. So
Yeah.
safety's number one, and we're always looking out for each other as far as whatever that whatever the situation is. We're always there for each other, and I couldn't be much any more happier than really representing Drake and his family, and really creating that, because it's more than just boxing.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the reasons I do what I do, and where we're building FanStream Sports Tampa Bay, is to highlight local athletes that I don't think get enough highlighting. Basically, I've been in sports for a long time, as you know, and we used to cover high school sports a ton, and local deal. We produce great stories on Channel 8 and whatever, and we had 2 newspapers that were doing stories. We don't have that anymore. So I want to really highlight local athletes, and your family has been involved in boxing for how long? Your dad.
My dad started.
Tell us that story.
Back in '67. Of course, he'll always say, his love, but after the bakery.
Right. Exactly. For those of you who don't know, Alessi Bakery, we all know that.
So, the quickest story of it, he fell in love with boxing. He went to a Rocky Marciano fight with my grandfather, fell in love with it. Then he, as a
What year was that?
Wow, that was
Rocky Marciano.
Probably 60s, probably I would say 64, 65. Then when he got a little older, he's really stayed interested in boxing. He always has. His dad always just take him to the closed circuit.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what closed circuit is, before pay-per-view.
Yes. Closed circuit. Yes. Where we used to do Florida Championship Wrestling on that too. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
at the Armory.
He found who's the player in Tampa. It was Luke Closky. Was a promoter here in Tampa, and they promoted Bob Foster back in the day, and just fell in love with it. And from then, he just did what he did, and it's great relationships. My dad was a very personal guy, as you well know.
Yeah.
When he walked in the room, he lit up the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that credibility that people trusted him, he was introduced to a lot of nice people. So it just started out that way, with him as a young kid, seeing Rocky Marciano fights, and
How many fights did he promote? Because there are a lot of people that are watching
483 fights.
483 fights,
Televised.
televised fights.
Yeah,
it used to be on USA Network and
so
everything.
He was exclusive on USA Network for one of the reasons why we're going to the Hilton used to be the Hyatt, and it was when I had the opportunity and fortunate enough for the folks over there to allow us to use that venue. It was very special because my dad had over 75 televised fights.
There's history there,
every
yeah.
Tuesday nights, there was a fight. So pretty special, but 408 fights and many things, like many others that weren't televised, but just the people, and you just couldn't put a price on it. It was just something that's
awesome.
That's why
it's a great part of our history, our Tampa Bay sports history.
Really is.
So let's bring that back.
Yeah,
let's blow that up and bring that back. And we got a local star here, right?
Absolutely. Drake's that champion of the world, and we really believe he can do it. It takes some time.
Yeah, of course.
We know how to get him to the big dance. He knows how to get there too, as far as in the ring and out of the ring, because it's not only in the ring. I can't say enough about him.
So this is a big fight for you, Drake, isn't it? I mean, you're going to have a good crowd. I mean, it's just going to be this is kind of a big deal. How important is it to win this fight and to be impressive doing it?
It's very impressive. It's very important.
Yeah,
it's very important. We have to just continue to climb the ladder slowly but surely, and just basically prove ourselves to show why we deserve the opportunity to meet with some of the big names and represent not just Florida or Tampa, but the United States.
Mm-hmm. And you've done that. Yeah. You've done that. What's that like? You won. Tell me that you won. I was
a continental gold medalist in 2018, and so there was a big international tournament. They had taken the teams from North, South, and Central America and some of the islands, and they all congregated in Colorado, and we competed to see who would be the best. And so I came out on top for that. And
heavyweight.
Yeah. So I was.
What did it feel like to represent your country, USA, on the chest?
It gives you a good sense of pride.
Yeah.
That's a real important thing, and but it gives you a good sense of pride.
Yeah.
You go there, and there's especially not as much in the United States in that tournament because we were in Colorado, but when you go with the United States national team overseas,
which you've done,
which I've done.
What are some of the countries you've
I went to Budapest, Hungary, and Sofia, Bulgaria.
Nice.
And so to see the looks on people's faces when the USA team comes in, it's pretty nice.
It's a big deal, huh?
Yes, it is.
That's cool.
So, or even when our team chants, USA, in a crowd full of people who are completely different that may not. It's great to show out. It's always great to show out, and we just always want to keep putting our country back on top.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you're going to fight Michael Glasscox from Bluffton, Ohio. He's got 5 knockouts. You're 7-0 with 5 knockouts. What do you know about him? Are you a Muhammad Ali trash talker? I don't see that in you, but you might be. I don't know.
No. I don't like to trash talk too much. I think that kind of like Phil touched on, the character is a big thing, and so you want to carry that in and out of the ring as best you can. Of course, modern day boxers and sports athletes, their main thing is to sell.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to grab attention. So one of the best ways to do that is to become a villain.
Yeah.
And so they become a villain to a lot of the population out there where people want to see him lose, but there's nothing wrong with being somebody that people like, that they want to come out and support and watch. Really be as exciting verbally, but it's still exciting.
Knock somebody out.
Come watch this.
Yeah. So Phil, you got to add the sizzle. You're the promoter. What is it? We're promoting the All-American boy from Tampa Bay. What's the sizzle here?
We really are, and Drake's going to unveil a new outlook as far as his come out, and it's going to be something very special as far as his attire coming out. It's going to be near and dear. Starting
to develop a narrative and a story.
It's going to be his look.
Can we get a hint on as to where?
I
like it. I like where we're going with this.
Bringing it back to America.
Where we're going with this. Tell me about the rest of the card. You've got 10 fights on here?
Yeah, we have 10 fights scheduled. We do have an NBA title fight with Stevie Ray. He's one of our kids that we promote, and very excitable. He's a 135 pounder. So
he's 10-0 with 10 knockouts.
He's a really slick kid. Is a real boxer and can bang. So we're really excited about him. And, there's a few others that are just local kids. We tried to help the locals because it's very difficult for them to get on cards. So, in return, they help us with selling tickets and things of that nature.
Nice.
It's going to be a very exciting night, and all the fights are very competitive. As you can see with Drake's opponent, an 0-15 guys, he's over 500 fighters. So, the thing with Drake and any of the fighters that we promote, we want them to take out one thing from that fight, learn one thing that's knowledgeable that would help them grow.
Right.
Because it does take time. You need rounds. You need the experience. You just can't get just knocking out people.
Right.
So, there's every opponent we put in front of all our boxers is something that they can have personal growth with.
Okay. Well, we talked a little bit about the sizzle before, but this Gloves and Roses, paint the picture for me. What's it going to be like when I walk in with my lady? She's going to be all dressed up too. I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to have some nice music. We'll have some sizzle as far as, it won't be
Sinatra. Okay.
But we'll kind of
I like it.
Put a spin on it, but a relaxing evening. But we'll have a lot of sizzle to it as far as the music that we play and the gobos on the walls, and it's going to be pretty exciting. Our national anthem singer, some pizzazz to it. So it's going to be really exciting. How
can folks get tickets?
Go to LessiePromotions.com, and on that website there's a link there for e-tix. And it'll take you, press on the e-tix, it'll take you straight to the site. It'll give you the manifest where you can pick and choose your tickets.
Awesome.
And we made it a little more reasonable this time basically other people can enjoy.
Well, a reasonable night out these days. Thank you very much for everybody. Well, that's good because we got our All-American boy, local guy, who's going to really make his debut here. So let's support Drake and all the fighters here. Get out to this thing. And the website is?
Yeah, LessiePromotions.com.
Some business news too, on my understand. We got a reopening of the bakery.
Yeah, that's right. It's bittersweet. We've been at this location on Cypress for 53 years.
Oh, I've been in there many times.
It's like a dream come true. We've been wanting to do this for years, and just the way it happened, it's just unreal. And we're literally going a block away. So
Cuban sandwiches, same everything.
There's going to be a lot more to offer. As far as food offerings, pastry offerings. Talk about pizzazz and the wow factor. This is going to be the wow factor. This is going to be the talk of the town, and for many, many years to come. As far as people it's going to be a destination place. It's going to be very, very special. So we're very excited about that.
That's fantastic. No, we love to support local businesses. We want to support the local boxing. We want to support the local boxers. And before we leave, I want to bring Dad in here. I know we don't have your own microphone, but I'll take mine off here and we'll make this work. Because I know. And listen, we want Brian. Tell me a little bit about him from your perspective.
Hold
it up a little bit higher.
He's just a wonderful person. He always has been since he was little. I've been blessed with 3 wonderful children, and he's everything I wanted to do, everything I still love to do, and he's my hero. Like all my kids, they're just incredibly disciplined, incredibly patient, incredibly hardworking, and they love their community and their people and each other, and I think that pretty much says it all. I mean, he's just a very special person, and he's always been my champion. I have the world now, so he's always going to be my champion no matter what. And I don't like to use the word pride too much. I'm very grateful and obviously proud, but very grateful for my life and my children and my family and all of our people, everybody.
That's awesome. That's great. He's well enough.
And you, thank you. Yeah, well, I shook it off a few minutes ago.
I'm so proud of my son and my daughter, and I know what it's like to be a dad and watch your kids live their dreams, and it's just the best thing ever. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see Drake fight.
Awesome.
In a couple weeks. That's going to be super fun. I know you too. You got
yes, sir.
You got a few family.
Oh yeah, we have
coming back.
All the family. We have plenty of family coming. Lots of people from the community. We've created a lot of fans that never actually watched boxing, pro boxing or amateur. And since they've come out to Phil's first show, he puts on such a classy show. They just love it. They won't miss.
We're bringing a bus.
They won't miss. More like a convoy, or like a convoy. Some of them even fly. He's fought down in South Florida, and he's had a couple of the local business owners. They fly their plane down there to watch him compete. So. Yeah, awesome. we always just want to bring pride to our community first and foremost.
Great story. These are the stories that I love to tell. And we're going to support Drake as much as we possibly can. So we hope you come back.
Thank you.
And I'll be there with my wife, Ashley, watching you and having a great time on Valentine's Day. So
Thank you
all
so
for
much.
coming in. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Before we go, Dad, Tim, can you pop back on here? I want to do a little beard contest with you and Dad. Can you pop back on here? Let's get it.
I can. Let's see. Hang on.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that sucker right there. I'm going to have to go with Dad. He's got a little bit more color going on there. Yours is a little bit. Call. Phil, I'll let you. You're used to judging things. Who's doing it better?
We're going to have a face-off first.
Sorry for you people on the podcast. I can't see this, but these are two very impressive beards.
They're both pretty impressive.
Can I say
His is better.
I just want to also thank Phil because an instant connection and we're all about the health and safety of my son. He's chosen a dangerous profession. He's also a boat captain. He owns a couple businesses back home, so he's Captain Banks in the ring. But Phil I just don't ever really probably want to work with anybody else because for us, he cares about the health and safety of my son. It's not just about money. It's not just about ego. It's based in integrity and work ethic. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate this man through and through.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys because all those things, are things we talk about on this show all the time, and we're not afraid to talk about them. And we're glad these are the ideals that are coming back in this country, that are making a comeback. And you guys are absolutely the epitome of all that. So we're going to celebrate this on February 14th at Gloves and Roses. Gloves and Roses. All right, we'll take our first break. We'll come back. Evan Closky is going to join us from Tampa Bay 10. We're going to get them out there as well to cover this fight and do a story on Drake. So Evan will love this. So we'll do that quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We got Bucs OC talk as well. The Bolts back in action tonight. Lots more coming your way. Stay with us.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad Caesar started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this Thursday. That was fun, that interview, as much as I did, and meeting all those great folks.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I posted on X the link to their website where you can go buy tickets for the Gloves and Roses event, Valentine's Day.
Gloves and Roses. How about that? That's going to be super fun. Yeah, and so is Ashley. So I really didn't think she'd go for that, but she's like, yeah, would love to. So
that's awesome.
That's different. Is Evan ready to go?
I don't have Evan.
Has he popped in? Okay.
No, he has not.
Okay. Maybe a little early anyway. So let's the rest of the news of the day. All right, I'm going to get your thoughts on local boxing. I don't know if they do a lot of that there in Dallas, but it was something that was really huge for a lot of people growing up with Phil's dad, and then Phil's done a lot of fights. I'd like to see it come back because I think it's, especially seeing local young fighters coming up. Obviously UFC has taken over the world, but boxing, especially at the amateur and young professional level, I think has a real emotional draw to it. Obviously, if you've never been to a fight, it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. I mean, I love combat sports, but combat sports in person is so much different than watching it on TV.
Oh, it is. It's just like most sports are, they're better in person. But when you see a boxing match in person, or you go to a UFC fight, or even wrestling for that matter, it's just a different experience. Locally here, I'm not up on the local boxing scene as much as And maybe it's just because it's just not as big of a scene like it was in the 80s and the 90s. You know, it was definitely a bigger sport back
everywhere,
then, especially on the local level. You know, nowadays we've got several little local, I say little, they're not little, but local MMA leagues, you know, and that's really big around here. But it's just, man, it's fun to support the kids that are in it. And I call them kids because, you know, they are, when they're in their early 20s, mid 20s, to me, they're still kids. It's just fun to support the guys that are into that and the promoters, because it's just like a local business. It's a local business, and you need to support the local businesses. And, you know, they're good guys. Drake's a great dude, you know, just from listening to him talk. I love the relationship he has with his dad. That's so important, you know, and they've got a bond, cool. You know.
I'm looking at Drake's eyes, and he's welling up when his dad's talking about him. I'm like, that, if you can't get out and support that, you know, and these are the type of people you really like to see make it big. Like, it's tough. Boxing's a tough game. This kid's got a great start though, and he's still young. You know, he's like, you can just tell he's country strong. He's built when you shake his hand, and he's just country strong. And those are the guys, the boxers, I think, that kind of sneak up on you, you know. And I think it's going to be very interesting to follow his career and see how he can do and go up through the ranks. Because I tell you what, the heavyweight division is wide. I mean, there's nobody of any interest. Can you imagine, you know, in his time, what a great narrative, what a great backstory he's got to be that all-American kid that could come up and be, you know, and be a successful heavyweight boxer. In this day and age, boy, that would sell big time, you know?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Especially with the link to the country, you know, if he's got a link, and I can't wait to see. You need to make sure you take some pictures of what he's wearing when he comes out. I can't wait to see that. We'll post all that on social media on all of the fans.
You can watch it on the live stream. They're going to live stream it. They got a whole production, so you can watch it on the live stream. Get that information out. Put those links out as well. All right, I got Evan texting me, and since I'm doing it on my phone, I can't do both. Let's take a quick break. Come back on the other side and get Evan all hooked up here.
All right.
And send me a new link.
Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. It is a Thursday morning. Not sure how it is out in the big Tampa Bay area, but it's about 50 degrees and cloudy and rainy here in the DFW as we get JP back here. And you're muted, JP. I think you muted yourself. If you can hear me, unmute yourself before you come back on the show. Thanks to all the special sponsors here on the JP Peterson Show. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, a Golden Diamond Source, the Gettys Gordon Group, Third Generation Plumbing, Cafe Paradiso, and of course, the Jeeves Law Group, where JP is stationed at the Jeeves Law Group FanStream Sports Studios.
Yes, we are. We are here right there at the Jeeves Law Group. And don't forget, you can get a free case evaluation. Just go to the JeevesLawGroup.com website, and you can call them or email them, tell them JP sent you, and you can have a local law group here fighting for you. So don't just go to one of the big names and the big national firms when you can do something local here. Keep it local. They know the local legal landscape. It's important. And that's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Get Scott Jeeves on your side. You will thank me later when you get your big settlement. All right. Is Evan ready to go? Do we have him yet?
We've got Evan ready to go.
There he is. What's up, brother? Sorry about the technical difficulties. We took an internet hit here at the studio today. So we're
good.
We're doing everything via the phone.
I would love to have been on the porch, but they're doing some like gardening work out there and using the leaf blower and the chainsaw. I don't know what they're doing. It's too loud. So unfortunately, I couldn't have porch talks.
Good. Well, thanks for taking the time, and it's crazy time. I don't think we've had you on since the Liam Cohen slithered out to Jacksonville. Give me your take on the whole thing before we get to next OC. Mm-hmm. Just the whole exit, the press conference. It's been quite the circus for the last week.
The Duval is just so funny. Duval. It's been like it's the gift that keeps on giving the past week. But yeah, I mean, overall, the thoughts, it's just been funny to watch the two cities interact because, Jacksonville fans are just so hung up on the what, and Tampa fans are not, they don't care that he left for the job. I mean, they care, but like it was expected, right? We knew that was a fear going into the offseason that Liam Cohen was going to leave, 24 hours prior to everything happening. There was I was running through offensive coordinator names in my head. So it's not about the what, it's just the how. And, when you kind of lie or ghost or, whatever reportedly has been out there with an organization that kind of gave you the shot to put you on the platform that you were on and gave your family the generational type of wealth that, you've been seeking. And he got an unbelievable deal. And sort of my big takeaway from all of this is on paper, it's kind of crazy what the Jags are doing. Not that Liam isn't a great offensive mind and deserving of the head coaching gig. He absolutely is. But they're paying this guy reportedly like $12, $13 million a year. So he's making like top 10 head coaching money. They gave him full control over his own GM, which really is like Kyle Shanahan, Bill Belichick territory.
Right.
And the guy has only called plays 1 year in the NFL. And we don't know how he's going to be as a leader, as a guy who's going to build a staff. Right now it looks like they're going to go with a defensive coordinator who doesn't have previous experience calling defensive plays. So there's just a lot of there's a lot of red flags going, like there's something like this is moving all too fast, and
Right.
and those move in two different directions. I could see the Jaguars crushing it out of the gates next year, and then you get to year 2, year 3, and the foundation starts crumbling a little bit. Or it can go the Dave Canales route, where it's just blows up in your face immediately, and then you got to pick up the pieces. And at least we knew when Dave took. It's just funny because when Dave took the job, it was like, oh, this is a great culture guy, but is he ready to be the coach? Like, he
Right.
had
Right.
some holes as an offensive coordinator. Then with Liam, it's like, oh, this guy can coach, but is he the culture guy?
Yeah.
So, that's it's unfortunate what happened with the Bucs, but as I've kind of told all the all my all the fans of Buccaneers, it just the personnel is still there. They are
Yeah.
they're going to be fine. They've been through this process. Sadly, they're experts in it. They're going to get someone who gets it. They're going to get someone who speaks the same language as Baker in the offense, and life will move on. So, yeah, just it was sticky, and it didn't feel right, and
Uh,
all those things. But ultimately, he made a choice that he felt like he had to make. It was a great opportunity. Don't blame him for that. I just kind of blame him for how he did it.
And his future over there, just like many head coaches, Evan, is going to be his success will sort of be measured by the success of Trevor Lawrence, his quarterback, who I think is
right.
still a very unproven quarterback in the league. I don't know if he's good, and I've been watching him since college. And we know one thing about Trevor Lawrence is that he gets hurt a lot. So he's with what he did with Baker last season. Does he have the potential to elevate Trevor Lawrence's career? Do you think like he did Baker's last year?
Yeah, I think, look, Shad Khan and all of his faults, the one thing that he did is he went above and beyond to get a guy to try to fix Trevor. And Liam Cohen was one of the best offensive minds out there in the market. And I think that if Trevor doesn't work out with Liam Cohen, then at least you can say it's over, right? I think you
Right.
can know that it's just all this wishing and hoping that Trevor's going to be this or that. It's over. Like, so I think from that perspective, Liam is a great person to help Trevor just because conceptually speaking and philosophically speaking, the offense is going to do some of the heavy lifting for him. And I don't know if he's really had that in his career. I throw out his rookie season with Urban Meyer. That was
Yeah.
just terrible. So, he's got to be healthy. That's part of being an NFL player. Buccaneers fans understand that well with Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis Jr. At the third. So there's the health stuff which you can't really control, and you got to figure out how to be on the field and play on Sundays. And then there's ultimately the ability, which I think that Liam will bring out the best in him, and he's got weapons. So, I think excuse time for Trevor is certainly over. He's got an OC we all believe in. I think they'll be able to figure it out. And I expect Trevor to be better. Now, what his ceiling is, I don't know, but I expect him to be an above average NFL quarterback.
Evan Closky joining us here from Tampa Bay 10, sports director. And the fact that Liam comes back and the Jags come back and ask to talk to Kevin Carberry, the offensive line coach, for a lateral move. And what do you think the response was going to be from Jason Light? Sure, go ahead.
I guess that's one of those things where it's like I gotta ask. I understand the response, right? Might as well have them turn me down versus me turn myself down. So, it'll be interesting if the Buccaneers, who don't have to, but it would be interesting if the Buccaneers would block like a Brian Bacucci, the assistant offensive line coach, if Liam Cohen wanted him to be his O line coach, because it's one thing to block a lateral move, right? Like,
Right.
nah,
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
But would the Buccaneers block someone who would get promoted to a better role,
I
even
don't
though
think
they
they
don't have
can.
to? Yeah. Well, evidently the only and this is according to Greg Auman this morning, said the only time that the teams have to stay out of it is for an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or head coaching position.
Okay.
Those the teams have no control over. Otherwise, any other position you can block.
Oh,
So assistant O line to O line coach, even though that's a promotion, you can block that. So I'm just I don't know if the Bucks would actually do it. That's the bigger
I think
question
they
of
would. I think
Yeah, it's and it's where it comes down
anywhere
to
else
whether
but Jacksonville. Yeah.
you know, that's one of those where you have to weigh your playing the game with Liam Cohen versus like if Brian Bacucci's like, hey, like this is good for my job. Like I don't know if he'll make more money. You know, you gotta. There are some things where you don't want to also like ruffle feathers in your own building and
Yeah,
have people
you got to
not
give him a
like it
bump.
either.
Yeah, give him a
Yeah.
raise a little bit. You got to do something.
If there's
You got
some,
to
if
block.
you want to do that, yeah, that stuff, I think the Buccaneers would be all for it. Oh, you want to leave? We'll give you the money that they're giving you. Just stay. I like we will play the petty game with
Petty.
them.
I can be
Yeah, and I'm
petty as
all for
anybody.
it. I'm
Of
all for
course.
it.
At this point, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So new OC. Evidently it has to be someone with a Rams connection because of all the people that they've interviewed the entire Rams offensive staff. And I think there's a little bit of intel gathering going on here as well, which is smart when you have this opportunity. Find out what they're doing, how they're doing it. But then there's the continuity card as well. And when it comes to that, my feeling is, especially with Thad Lewis getting some other looks from the Texans and some other interviews, I think, and you know, they did Josh Grisel yesterday, who's the third down architect. But remember that Liam Cohen was calling the third down plays. So I think they'd like to stay in house, and if they did, I think Thad Lewis would be the guy in line. Or is it Grizzard? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Or is there somebody outside the sphere?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that name has come up yet for the Buccaneers of who they're going to hire in this cycle. You know, the thing is when going with the search is that we have two previous searches that we can directly call back on the last 2 years. So we know exactly how they operate. And you're right, they're going to gather up intel, which is exactly what you should do, right? Might as well bring in a bunch of people in, hear what they have to say, hear some concepts. You know, maybe there's some stuff that you can take away and see if they speak the same language that you do. Ultimately, though, what we've seen in the past is that they are going to interview double-digit candidates, and then the last candidate or somebody where it seems like the search is kind of stopped, then they're going to bring someone in, and boom, it's going to happen right at the end there. You know, the last two times they haven't circled back to an earlier name; they have landed on the last name of that search. So
Good point.
I don't know if it's going to be Grizzard. I don't know if it's going to be Thad. The fact that Thad has not been interviewed yet, I would say, is a good sign for Thad, considering how those previous searches have gone. I think he would be highly qualified because Thad, unfortunately, is kind of trending towards Dave Canales in Seattle territory, where you're always the QB coach and you keep getting passed over. So but that's not to say that it's been 3 straight years for Thad to learn different systems as well. You don't know if there's too much that has been thrown at him where he's concocted his own offense, or all those different systems have created something special. So that's something I'm curious about. I am very curious on Grizzard. I am curious on Nick Caley. So there are some names that I certainly do like, but I also believe they got at least another 5 in the hopper before we start saying they're getting close to winding down here. And by I would say the first week in February, by the end of next week, maybe we should probably have the answer of who the OC would be.
I guess the bottom line is now, are the Bucs a better team without Liam Cohen? Did the Bucs do the right thing here? We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and my thought is they're not a better team at this moment. They took a big hit. Go from 32nd to 3rd in rushing. Look, I know there were a lot of different things. The Bucky Irving, Graham Barton. There were some new things, but to me, Liam Cohen, watching the way he called plays, sequence plays, there was some genius there. And I don't think you can replicate that. And I think they've got great weapons, obviously, but I just, I don't, they're not going to be bad. Will they be 29 points, 30 points? They could have taken that to another level in year 2 of Liam Cohen. And I think Jeff Darlington wrote it. I've said it too. There are people in this organization very high up that would rather have had Liam Cohen than Todd Bowles. So I think there's some conflict. I think there's some, and I think this is why there was such a ferocious reaction from the Buccaneers front office, because I think they wanted a chance to counteroffer, maybe offer him the head coaching job. I think there's a lot here that the Bucs need to recover from. This is not good. And did they go about it the right way? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if conflict's the right word. There's certainly, I went on record. I've said it that if it was an either or option, I would feel like I would have to choose Liam Cohen because he's the future, right? Todd Bowles doesn't
Agreed.
just, and we can get into the nitty gritty of Todd and all the things that we love, or maybe things that he needs to work on. But the fact is, he's 61 years old and doesn't have
Exactly.
much runway left. So just from a purely objective, who is going to be best for my organization moving forward and who can be here the longest, and like it was Liam. So from that standpoint, that's how I kind of said it. Now, I feel like, as you mentioned, the reason why they were so angry is because I feel like they thought they had a good beat on threading the needle between keeping Todd and keeping Liam. And I thought
Agreed.
they probably felt duped by Liam and maybe his agent in this process, thinking that they would be in lockstep, that whatever they do, they would be informed and we can help and we can figure it out and we will come to solutions, and whatever you need, we're going to get there. But they weren't given that opportunity and left essentially, not actually in the middle of the night, but kind of like, in
Yeah.
secrecy, and didn't even give the Bucks a chance to keep them in the building. And that was their fear all along. So is it a hit to the Buccaneers? 100%. It's hard to say it's not. Do I think that the building is fractured because of it? Absolutely not. I
No,
think
I
it's a
wouldn't say fractured.
galvanizing.
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. I'm saying just in general, like, it's a galvanizing thing more than anything. And even if they hired Liam next year, the same questions I said with, it's a little bit, the only difference being is that Todd has built the culture in the building. So you just got to maintain it versus what he's got to do in Jacksonville, which is create a culture.
Right.
But there's no saying that Liam would have been a great head coach either when
That's right.
everything would have happened that way. So, it's tough to really go down that road. I do think, in general, fans, while good culture does not create a good team or does not mean that you're going to be a Super Bowl caliber squad, it having bad culture means you're probably not going to be a good
Right.
team.
Absolutely.
And, look at the Eagles last year, right? I mean, they were in shambles and looked like it, and they wanted Sirianni fired. They made a couple of really good hires at offensive and defensive coordinator. They redid the whole process that they screwed up the year prior, and now they're back in the Super Bowl. So
Right.
you need culture to go far, but that doesn't guarantee success. And bad culture will sink you. And who knows where that's going to go with Liam? I do know that Todd, throughout his time, has set the culture. And at least in the years that we've covered the Bucks, not once have I heard bad things about Todd Bowles. And he hasn't been perfect, and the in-game management is troublesome, and we can go into that. But not one player has snuck out and been like, Todd Bowles is this or that. It's never been an issue. They've
Yeah.
never
That's right.
splintered in the locker room. So, or it's never leaked out, which again is a great sign of culture.
Good thing.
So
Yeah.
it's tough to really analyze where I think the Bucks are going to go from this point forward, because once they make that OC hire, we're going to all spin zone it into a positive. We're going to find everything that we like about it. And who knows, like if they make a trade in 2 weeks for a Max Crosby, all of a sudden we're going to be right back on the train. So there's
Right.
there's really Jason Light, I would argue this is probably, after the Tom Brady offseason where he got him, I would say this is a critical offseason for Jason Light to really
Yeah.
step up, because there are two paths. And one, I think, is the ability to be a Super Bowl caliber squad, and the other is not. And I think he is directly in control of making that happen.
Evan, we sort of assume that the OC position with the Bucs is a desirable job for OCs or potential OCs, kind of based on the roster, based on the front office and the Bucs and the history of that coordinator position and the success they've had. Is there a chance that maybe it's not because of the bowl situation? I mean, we assume he's going to be here this year, or they would probably replace him and let the new head coach go hire his own OC and his own DC. So we just kind of assume that Bowles is going to be here next year, so that's why they're hiring an OC to work under him. But is maybe the fact that this could be Bowles' last year and his future beyond this year sort of uncertain. Does that make this job for a potential OC any less appealing, do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, you just saw two people back-to-back years, two people who just called NFL plays for the first time
Yeah.
get head coaching gigs the following year. And again,
The golden
you're just
ticket.
looking at it. Yeah, I mean that like seriously, it's and even on top of that, like the Dave Canales year, that was a legitimate concern. I think they took a huge risk on Dave because they had to. And he was good. He wasn't perfect, but he was good for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And then they got Liam, who I think that it was a better job last year than what it was the year prior. And I think this job this year is better than the year prior. They got everything that you could ever want, I do assume that Chris Godwin's going to be back. Godwin, Evans, a top 5 offensive line. McMillan is your 3. You got Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Sean Tucker. I don't know. Maybe you get in there and you bring, you draft a piece that you like, or, maybe you add another tight end. I don't know. But the fact is, you don't have to fix one thing with this offense coming in. You can build it. These are professionals. You don't have many rookies. You got to, string along. They get it. So, I understand those concerns, but ultimately the positives way outweigh the negatives of what could happen taking this Bucs job.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I agree. It's the golden ticket, and they'll be good. How good remains to be seen. It's the defense that has to be fixed. That's where this team's going to get markedly better, and they have opportunities now to go sign a free agent edge rusher, maybe an older guy, maybe a Khalil Mack. Trey Hendrickson might be on the table for a trade. Obviously with the 19th pick, right? I think they have the 19th pick. They're definitely looking edge rusher, and there'll be some good ones there. So what does this offseason look like in terms of Jason Light's plate, and what would you like to see him bring in?
Yeah, even if you draft an edge rusher with the first pick this season, you still have to bring in a veteran. And that's it, whether you make a trade, and it can't just be some run-of-the-mill guy. It's got to be a bona fide number one. You have the team that can go on a Super Bowl type of run. You gotta, but it's very clear that Todd Bowles cannot run his system as effectively without having someone to suck up the gravity on the edges. And when you get a number one, that makes Yaya a 2. And I think Yaya is an amazing 2. I don't think he's a 1, but I think he's a hell of a number 2. And then if I bring in a number 1, I have Yaya on another side, and then I have Vita and Kalijah Cansey on the inside. How am I blocking this? I can't double, Vita and the edge guy, and then that means I get one-on-ones with Yaya, and then he probably eats, or Kalijah Cansey gets one-on-one, and then let's say you also draft a first-round edge rusher. Well, now he can be rotated in, he can learn. You're not reliant on him, because the odds of drafting an edge rusher and him being a number 1 are just slim to none. It just, Jared Verse kind of did it this past year. Micah Parsons has done it. I mean, really, 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 really special guys have done it. And Abdul Carter would be that name that I can think of this year, and you're not going to come close to sniffing that pick. So I think that's number 1. Who is going to be our number 1 pass rusher? And if you can't make the trade, then you got to think of names like Khalil Mack, Josh Sweat. Like those are the guys up there that I would think.
Two good ones.
Yeah. And then after that, you got to also solidify the linebacker position, because that was a nightmare. And then you got to also do the cornerback position, which was a nightmare as well. So, there's a lot they look, the Rams, the Chargers, the Eagles, all great examples of teams that improved dramatically from one year to the next by making a heavy investment in certain pieces. One was a coaching change, other was draft. I mean, there are different ways to do it, but I don't think that because there are some holes that they can't fix it, but they're going to have to invest heavy draft capital on the defense, and they're going to have to make the right moves. But number 1, first and foremost, get yourself a top tier edge rusher and spend whatever it costs. Do what you got to do, because that is the key to unlocking some of the woes for the defense.
Agreed. All right. Hey, we got some Rays talk, and it's not about the stadium. Whoa. They got a
straight. We're talking baseball. What?
On the field baseball. Like actually, they signed a guy that's not $1 million player. They spent $29 million. Well, I think $15 million because it's a second-year option.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an injured shortstop that's not going to be able to play till hopefully. But he gives you, he's an average OPS 240 hitter, but he's a Gold Glover. But a 240 hitter for the Rays is like 3-hole. So
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's true.
and they
Yeah.
put all his games on in Korea, and of course
Mhm.
the Rays will make money off that, which is good.
That's fine. I mean, look, $29 million for the Rays is like one of the largest contracts they've given a free agent hitter, which is crazy to think about.
Position
But
player,
yeah,
yeah.
look, he's not there to really provide the pop that I think we're looking for with the team, but he is one of those all around players, guys that Rays fans have loved, their entire tenure, right? Like Ben Zobrist didn't put the ball out of the ballpark, but he did a lot of things right. And that's
Yeah.
what Hassan Kim does. Amazing fielder. I would say maybe his, 2022 was spectacular. 2023,
Yeah.
2024 hasn't quite been at the Gold Glove level, but he's not going to hurt you in games. He might
No,
not win you
he's a
games
plus defender.
yeah, exactly. So, and he's a clear upgrade on Taylor Walls with the bat. And you can still keep Walls as a late game,
Sure.
put him in there and rotate him in, and that's fine. But he helps your lineup not again have an automatic out in there, which I think is the key. And he steals bases. Philosophically, he just fits a lot of what the Rays like to do, and he has a lot of tools. And I think that entering the offseason, I thought that you were just going to have to live with Walls and Caballero because they got Carson Williams coming up through the minors. He's going to almost certainly be the 2026 shortstop, and you're stuck. Well, they found a way to, to be competitive at that shortstop position while waiting for Carson Williams. And I thought this was a very savvy move from Eric Neander and one I didn't think was going to happen entering the offseason. So pleasantly surprised by the addition.
So that the lineup looks like it's getting a little thicker, but certainly with Jansen as they addressed, I think, two critical positions in shortstop and catcher, and I think there's both huge upgrades. So that's good. We're still counting on a lot of guys to be better. I still think they could use one more nice big bat. How about a Pete Alonso bat? That'd be nice. We know that's never happening. Never happening.
That's happening.
But boy, wouldn't it be? So I mean, I'm looking at Yandy, Brandon Lau.
Theoretically, Morel is that bat, and that, I mean, there's still the,
I have a lot of hope there.
The exact, and that's ultimately it's going to come down to, is Josh Lowe going to revert back to 2023 form? Is Brandon Lau going to be able to be healthy enough? Is Yandy Diaz going to be back to, he doesn't even have to be back to 2023 levels, but can he be a little bit below 2023 levels versus kind of taking the big step back that he took early in 2024 that kind of sunk this offense a little bit? Will Morel be a thing? They took a big risk on that trade with Morel believing in him, and will the offseason do him well? So, and is Caminero the guy we just saw in the Dominican who is just, crushing everything? So, like there are some legitimate questions. I think the ceiling is high, but the floor is also low. And that's where we have the variability. And we've been riding the roller coaster with this team for the past 3 years between an awful 2022, an absurd 2023, an awful 2024. What is the lineup going to do in 2025? I'm very curious. And it's hard to believe that many out there can pinpoint what this offense is going to be, because I can sell you on the good stuff and I can sell you on the nasty stuff.
Exactly.
At some point, we're going to have to just see it show up on game day.
Yeah. But it's outdoor baseball, baby. It's outdoor baseball at Steinbrenner. Place is going to be packed. They've sold all the premium tickets. Now it's and I know a lot of season ticket holders are pissed off because the prices have been jacked up, but that's just part of it.
It's a tough spot. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap to sling at Stu, and a lot of times all for it, and understandable. But moving to a smaller stadium where the demand is so high, I don't know what else people were going to expect from that scenario. I think they got to do right by the season ticket holders, but as you mentioned, there is a little bit of a, it is what it is sort of deal. It's not a great situation. You're playing in a minor league ballpark, so it sucks. I feel for a lot of season ticket holders, but it's a crappy situation all around that leads to some of that stuff.
But it's going to be fun, no doubt. All right, partner. We won't talk about the Bolts just yet. We'll I think they're fine, but they just need to get out of the scoring slump.
I'll leave on the one nugget is the past 5 games goalies against the Lightning, according to Natural Stat Trick, 8 goals above expected saved.
Yeah.
So they scored 10 in the last 5. You have to imagine that if they got league average goaltending against, they would have had 18 goals during that stretch. It's regression to the mean. I will say overall thought is that their 5-on-5 offense needs to improve, and that's not like a thing that they can fix necessarily with this team. They gotta get someone to fix it and a long-term option. The bottom 6 just isn't good enough in that regard. But overall, am I hitting the panic button with the Lightning? No, they're going to score goals. This is what happened. John said it, and I agree with Coop. In an 82 game season, you're just going to have these moments where you hit the lulls and the puck ain't going in for you. And it just sucks to have it happen against the Blackhawks, but they're going to have a game here soon where they score 5-5-4, and they'll kind of re-trigger themselves back to where they need to be.
Agreed. All right, partner. Appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can get your content, my friend.
Yeah, you can head to 1010bay.com, 1010bay Plus app. Also, hit me up at Closky, WTSP, for any ramblings. Football season's over, so we're living a little bit quiet, but we will be in Orlando on Saturday as the Bucs players will speak after practice. So we'll have all that stuff for you. So just continually check in. We'll keep you updated on Rays, Bolts, and everything going on with this Bucs off season.
All right, partner. Thank you, Evan. Always great to chat with you. Appreciate you. All right, we'll take another break. Come back on the other side and hit some of the other goings on. We'll get a little bit more into the Lightning as they got the LA Kings tonight, who played last night down in Sunrise. We're brought to you by the great folks at Auto Insurance. Get that insurance checkup, folks. They will save you money. Let them do all the work, and they'll shop your homeowners, your auto, your business insurance. Make sure you have flood insurance, all of that stuff. One call does it all. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
Hey, JP here for my personal concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. Yeah, he's been on the show for the last couple of years, but this is kind of a new deal, and only a limited amount of you can get involved with this personal concierge service. And what I love about it, you can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. And Chris emphasizes a healthy lifestyle to help prevent illness. But when I do need assistance, he's always available. From nutrition guidance to supplement recommendations and workout advice, his expertise is a game changer. Plus, as a medical provider for the National Guard, he stays up to date on the latest health trends and practices, steering clear of the outdated conventional medicine that often relies on unnecessary prescriptions. And the best part, Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself. Take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Tim. That guy right there is JP Peterson from the Jeeves Law Group, FanStream Sports Studios in South Tampa.
Good morning, everybody. Been a fun show so far. So good to see Drake Banks, new heavyweight on the scene, 8-0, 6 knockouts. Going to be fighting on Valentine's night at the downtown Phil Alessi Boxing. They were in here early. If you missed that, go check it out on our YouTube page or Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Really good. It was a very emotional interview with Dad there.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool. Really, I'm looking forward to the fights. I'm looking forward to following his career. We know we're all about local businesses and local athletes. That's why we do what we do. So a huge thanks to all our sponsors there, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo, Italiano Insurance, the Gold and Diamond Source, Steve and Julie Weintraub. Thank you very much for your support. Head on in there. The Geddes Gordon Group, Third Gen Plumbing, John Rodriguez. That's another longtime Tampa family that's been in business since 1995. They've been in the plumbing and air conditioning business for even longer than that. Great folks over there. And, of course, Paulo Tini at Cafe Paradiso and the Jeeves Law Group. Thanks to all of our great local sponsors that make this happen each and every day. So much appreciated to all of them. I did not start the show with the obvious tragedy that happened last night. The plane crash in D.C., Army helicopter colliding with an American Airlines smaller passenger jet. Thank the Lord. It could have been worse. But among the dead on the airplane were American and Russian figure skaters. It's such a tragic accident. My wife Ashley was speaking with one of her military friends who actually travels in and out of DC for the Department of Defense, travels on a lot of those helicopters. And she was saying that, there's a lot of issues with the military choppers, maintenance wise, pilot wise, it happens too often. And I think when we're all said and done, we're going to realize that'd be where the fault is here. You hate to say that, but
yeah, I think they're already guessing that because obviously it's a commercial airport and it was right in the landing zone, of passenger planes. So you can just kind of guess what happened here. Tragic stuff. Our hearts obviously go out to all the victims, the families and everything. Just that was a tough one. No doubt about it. I was watching TV last night and they have video of it.
Yeah. The reports started coming in and I'm like, wow, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah. So anyway, some prayers going out to all the folks that are affected by that. Other news and notes, obviously, locally here, we got the Lightning tonight. I'll be at Emily and Marina doing my thing. Come on up and say hello. As the Los Angeles Kings are in town, they played the Panthers last night. And what was the final on that one, Timmy? I don't have it in front of me. The Panthers got the win, I believe.
Of the Kings-Panthers game?
Yeah.
3-0, Panthers over the Kings.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So a back-to-back for the Kings, which obviously helps the Lightning. Not sure if Vassey's going to be back tonight or not. He fell the other day, so hopefully he can be back. Not that Johansson was bad the other night, but it's just as we talked with Evan, I think it's just a matter of these guys getting right and just finding the back of the net and not running into a hot goalie every single night, which has kind of been the case. So I'm not too worried about them, but they need to get some points. They've got now 4 more home games on this homestand, and that's what sucks when you that the one against the Blackhawks you just chalked up as 2 points. So now you really need to run the table of the rest of these, and that's not going to be easy. You got Chicago, then 2 with Ottawa, somebody else in between there. It's tough, and these other teams are getting hot.
Well, and the Kings season is gone. They're mirror images of each other. The Kings and the Lightning. Kings are a fairly good team, but they absolutely suck on the road. The Kings are really, really good when they score 3 goals or more. I think they're 21-0-2 when they score 3 goals all season. So the Kings hold them below 3 goals. You get your 3, and boom, you win. The recipe is there. It's been there all season. But this should be a good one. The Kings are on a 3-game skid. Like you said, they got shut out at Florida last night. And, the Lightning have an opportunity to jump on it and early and get a W here on the home ice, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, they've lost 4 of 5 now, the Lightning have. So, they got a chance to practice yesterday, which Coop was looking forward to. Maybe, just get a couple of, details ironed out here. Power play that was so good the game before, 3 for 3. It was 0 for 3, and even had some 5-on-3 time that they didn't capitalize on. So, AC Mott took a terrible penalty. I wonder if he's going to be in the lineup tonight, the other night. So, waiting to get J.J. Moser back. The word is he's going to be back before the 4 Nations. The talk was it was always be after that, but he's been skating with the team for a while. So they may get him back, which I think would be a huge lift. The Lilleberg is still suspended. I get this. Well, his first or second game suspended. I think his second game suspended. So, and Perbix has been struggling. So, now they've got a couple of issues, but the bottom line is they just got to start scoring. They got to start scoring, and that hopefully will come tonight. The Kings are tough, but it's going to be a very tight checking game. It's not, if you score 5 or 6, that was the Blackhawks. That's where you were going to get that. So, maybe they find a way tonight against the Kings, but it's going to be, I think it's obviously going to be a much more tougher physical game than it was against Chicago.
Yeah, and we've beat the scoring thing like a dead horse. I understand that, but in the last 10 games, the reality is the Lightning are scoring under 3 goals a game. They're not even hitting 3 over the last 10. I think they're 4-5-1 in the last 10. So you just got to get the puck in the net, JP. Put the biscuit in the damn basket.
Biscuit in the damn basket, absolutely. And getting back to the Rays a little bit, we talked about this yesterday, and there's a couple more things on the state. We reported that most of the employees that they brought down here to work on the new stadium have been furloughed. So I think, if you need any more clues that the Rays are not going through with this stadium deal, there's another one for you. So what's next? I think it's very interesting. They went out, spent $29 million. Now it's a second-year team option for HSK. So, but still, that's a significant expenditure, especially for a guy that's not going to play till May. Hopefully. And it's the Rays' luck. We'll see, but hopefully he'll be ready. But it's a thin lineup. It's absolutely thin. You're counting on everybody to improve and be better than they've been. And that's always a bad strategy. It just, because that doesn't happen in baseball. Everybody doesn't suddenly get good or return to their best self. Now, part of the struggles of this Lightning or this Rays offense has been the fact that there's too many holes and too many strikeouts in the middle of that lineup, and you could pitch around guys, and that's why you get runners in scoring position that's second to last in the league. So as you thicken that lineup up, as many automatic outs where they can pitch around Yandy or when Brandon Lau when he's hot, that it just makes for a completely different feel when you're pitching against them. But again, everybody has to be at their best for this lineup to really work. And that's a tough ask in my opinion, but it's better than we thought it was going to be. And I wasn't sure they were going to spend any money. I was pretty sure they weren't going to spend any money on a position player, but they went out and did it. and you see the reaction across the league was there were a lot of teams that wanted this guy. Again, he's 704 OPS career, which is just a tick average. But for, the Rays, whose offensive output has been well below average at shortstop with Taylor Walls, that's a huge step up. That's going from, Robert Hainsey to Graham Barton. That's a big step up. So hopefully that helps. His defense is great. He's a former Gold Glover. Now you got Caminero, who you see that big play the other night where he wins the Dominican World Series. I mean, we remember when Randy Arozarena was kicking ass. That came off that World Baseball Championship where he, said hello world. And so maybe this is Junior Caminero's moment. So, if he can have a 35, 40 home run year, which, with his kind of power is a possibility. HSK can maybe be a little bit above average in what, he hits 243. He hit I think he had 18 home runs one year, a couple of years ago, when he was actually, I think, 14th in the MVP voting. I mean, for the Padres, he had one hell of a year. But then again, look at that lineup. I mean, there's, that's the guy they were, who was going to see anybody going to see strikes. It was going to be him. So that was, and it's not the same kind of lineup. So, but if he could, and Josh Lowe obviously is a huge key. If he can get back to those 23 numbers where, he could be a 40-40 guy. Oh, now you got some, because you got a pitching staff that's you hope is going to be lights out. You hope McClanahan comes back. You hope that these guys come back and are who they have been. So, I mean, I think Vegas had him at 79.5 wins. With this edition, I think, and I said over that, maybe not much over, but I think at this point, I could see 85, 88 wins. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, and that's still not a great season, but it's might be more than what the expectations are.
You get your wild card.
If you can beat expectations, then you're winning, right, with the fan base. So I think that's the key. Tamper expectations a little bit, and when they undersell and overproduce, the fan base is happy.
And I wonder, I said this kind of tongue in cheek on Twitter. Well, they signed a guy for $29 million. Well, a sale must be imminent. Yeah. And I do think something I would actually lay some money down that this team could be sold before March or just after. I think MLB's, had enough of due, and they don't want to go to court. And there was an interesting quote yesterday that came out of from the mayor. And he said that this is from Colleen Wright, who's doing a great job reporting on the stadium stuff at the Times. And the mayor was asked, did he talk to Stu? And they said, yeah, we had a meeting. We're next Tuesday, obviously about the stadium and another issue. And I guess Colleen said, well, what's the other issue? And he said, ask Stu. Ask Stu what the other issue is. So my guess is it's, okay, stadium going to go or not. The other one is, what are you going to do about the agreements with the real estate, with the land? Because again, I said this because I heard it in that county commission meeting. The county attorney was asked, if the stadium doesn't go through, can the Rays still acquire the land? And it was unclear.
Yeah,
it was unclear, which means
just the way they want
litigation to follow.
Yeah.
Litigation to follow. So I guess it means maybe the other issue is, hey, Stu, are you going to sue us to get that land? Are you going to tie it up in litigation? Because if they do, for the Rays, it's, they can do that all as long as they want until obviously the city has to develop it at some point, has to make decisions. So it puts the city in the corner, and that's what all these letters back and forth have been about the repairing of the Trop. Who can get the upper hand, the settlement negotiations for the heretofore litigation to come. It's like these are all chess moves, these letters back and forth. What it has nothing to do with is the Trop actually getting repaired and playing baseball there. What it has nothing to do with is the actual deal moving forward. So we've now gone into litigation phase of this, in my opinion, where we're just trying to get the upper hand. So the city's going to have to pay off the Rays just to go away, so they can redevelop their own land if the team is purchased and there's a stadium built in Tampa. So I know there's a lot of ifs and buts and candy and nuts. I get all that. But just if you're asking me where this is headed, what I see, that's kind of how I see it playing out. And that's the best possible solution for me, and I think for most Rays fans, for a Tampa group to buy this and for them to build something in Tampa. And I think our friend Thomas Cat told me that he reads all the TSA stuff and all the newsletters for business and all the stuff, very connected in the business community, said that there was something in the TSA newsletter about a combined stadium of some sort with the Rays and the Bucs. And, obviously this is on the table. I think it should be on the table, some type of combined stadium or, dual stadiums next to each other and a combined super structure. I don't know. I think if we're doing this the right way, the Bucs need a climate controlled stadium of some type, either retrofitted to Raymond James somehow or a whole new stadium. And the Rays do. Is it time for someone to come up with something that works for both, which would be ideal and groundbreaking and, all those things.
So I guess it all depends on, because we know the Rays need a stadium right now. I mean, they've got three years or so, I know, at Steinbrenner if they need it. But they need to start construction on a stadium ASAP, really, to make it work.
Right.
The Bucs, when is their lease up at Ray J? Or
28.
So they've got 2 more seasons or 3 more seasons.
Yeah. But they can extend that lease and they can play there as long as they need to play.
I mean, my question is, do the Bucs need a new stadium right now? Like, you don't want
I don't
to
think
shorten the life of what they have just because you want to build a new one.
I don't think they need one. If they want to get more Super Bowls, the future is more climate controlled, obviously.
Right.
They know they have a huge problem with their fan base in September and October roasting out in the sun. It's just, we're getting softer every year, right?
Yeah, right.
Guilty. Fans are just not going to pay premium dollar to sit out in the 110 degree feels like heat. It's just not. And if you want to get more Super Bowls, you got to do something about the stadium. If the competition is fierce with these stadiums. Obviously, Vegas coming online. What is that? 78,000, 80,000. The Jerry World. These are just better options. SoFi, obviously, these are better options than Tampa.
Do you remember what the Super Bowl configuration capacity is for Jerry World? You remember?
It's over 100, right?
109.
Jesus.
Is official capacity for Jerry World for a Super Bowl configuration.
And you can get Raymond James up to 75. 75. That's a huge difference, obviously. Yeah.
Well,
so
we still only had one Super Bowl at Jerry World, and it's been open for 15 years, 16 years now.
Why is that? Because of the ice storm? No, it can't be that because we're doing New York Super Bowls.
Yeah. I think that had a little bit to do with it early. It was just such a bad experience initially for the first time. I also think it's a little bit of the league pushing back on Jerry.
Yeah, I do too.
I think there's no question there's some of that going on.
There's still bad blood.
Yeah, and I get it. He's smarter than the league, and they don't like it.
It's true. That's true. How's the fallout been from the hiring and shot time? I don't know if we've talked too much about that silly press conference.
Oh my gosh. The whole time I'm watching that press conference and Jerry's talking about what a risk it is.
Right.
How an absolute risk it. I'm out of my comfort zone. This is such a risk for me to take. Schottenheimer's literally sitting right next to him. I kept waiting for Brian to go, dude, I'm right here. I can hear everything you're saying.
Why am I a risk? Like, yeah, that was hilarious. Because he's trying to, clap back on people who said, he won't take a risk or, won't, more than just getting out of your comfort instead of just hiring puppets.
And then Stephen Jones got lit up, dude, locally lit up. in that same press conference, and he was talking about the drought, the NFC title and Super Bowl.
The drought.
And he said, the drought. Dude, air quotes were a thing here locally for 4 or 5 days after that. Like, what is Steven? It's an actual drought. You don't put air quotes around it when it's a real thing,
Yeah.
For instance, this is how bad it is in Dallas. From 1960 to 1988, 89. Was it 90, 95? Let's say 90, 60 to 95, 35 years. The Cowboys won 28 playoff games.
Okay.
From 1996 to now, which is 30 years, won 4. They've won 4.
Wow. The Bucs have won more than that in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and that's what the fan base is dealing with. You know what? In the NFC Championship game, the Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns. The Cowboys had 6 rushing touchdowns all season.
And that's why you didn't need Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley.
No, we don't need a running back. We went and got Zeke back.
Golly.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Well, you're making money. I guess you're making money. At what point do the Cowboy fans not show up? At what point do they just become irrelevant?
I never thought that would ever happen in a bajillion years, but I think we are closer to that now than ever before. They took a hit in attendance last year. Towards the end of the year, dude, that stadium was not full for home games. And
so
I've never seen that
maybe it's gotten to that point now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, the Schottenheimer hire was not thrilling for the fan base. It's not moving anybody's needles anywhere, as much as he's probably a nice guy, and I hope it works out well. I hope he wins the Super Bowl, obviously, and proves everybody wrong. But, man, things are just not pointing in that direction right now, and it may be the worst time ever to be a Cowboys fan. Look, I lived through the late 80s as a Cowboys fan, even when Tom Landry had lost it a little bit. Okay, the game had passed him by. They went to 3 straight NFC championship games with Danny White in the early 80s. The catch was one of those in 82 to go to the Super Bowl to play the Bengals. But in the late 80s, before Jerry bought the team, dude, it was sad, man. We were having TV blackouts. We've never had those before.
Yeah, we had those for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had to drive 40 miles north to watch a game on TV, at a hotel room or something.
Well, I mean, at some point, the fan base is going to be sick. Say enough's enough.
I think they're getting there, man. Like I said, I never thought that would ever happen, but I think they're closer than ever before. I saw some of it last season already. It's crazy.
Well, you look at the league right now. First of all, from the television numbers, I mean, the AFC Championship game did what, 59 million?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God, that's a huge, huge number. That's almost Super Bowl-esque.
Yeah.
Super Bowl is going to be over 100 million. Every top 50 TV shows, 49 of them are NFL football. That being said, in my lifetime, I don't remember when the league's had so many issues just as a league. I'm watching a McAfee yesterday, and he had Andy Reid on. Mm-hmm. And McAfee can, he has a great way of asking just about any question, like questions that a lot of people don't want. So he actually went there with Andy Reid and the refs. And, he goes, everybody's talking about this, coach. Everybody's, you and the refs, like, what's going on there? And Andy, who was completely affable during the whole interview about that, just goes, I'm not getting into that. He was just like having none of it. Like, what's he going to say? Yeah. I get it. But he was definitely perturbed by the entire question, line of question in that. Of course,
the entire quote from Andy Reid was all he said was, "Yeah, right." That's all he said.
Yeah. And from a nonverbal, it was just like you could just tell, like, he was not pleased with that. And Pat, to his credit, just moving on. Next but it's question. An issue. It's an issue. There's no question about it. It's an issue for fans, and it's already one of the top 5 topics of conversation when talking about the Super Bowl, and it might be number 1. That's a problem for the NFL. That is a problem. Their officiating has never been so bad. The officiating of the games, the running of the games has never been so bad. I think I read yesterday that they are finally going to use the Hawkeye technology. They're doing away with the chains. Right?
About time.
Yeah. So that's a good step. Bill, there's so many question marks because of for me, when you connect the head referee with New York and there's conversations outside the game and that they can literally change any call with this replay assist,
just do it.
I'm waiting for Vince McMahon to appear, from behind the curtain. Where's he been? Now he's writing his scripts for the NFL. We joke about it and they joke about the scripts, but it's like, yeah, we joke about all these conspiracies and they've all come true. I'm not here to say that we've got, that they're scripting this. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it appears first of all, they have a mechanism of which they can control every game now from one place.
Mm-hmm.
Not control everything, but they have a likelihood of being able to control outcomes of games by making rulings on calls that are 50-50. The fourth down call on Josh Allen, the catch or no catch down by the goal line. So all of there are critical moments in every game where if you can make those calls, you can heavily affect the outcome games. So I think the NFL has a problem with that, especially now with all the different gambling opportunities that people have. There's never been more money gambled on football games than now. So I think there's an issue. And you're talking about the Rooney Rule has been completely bastardized. You have I don't know. It just seems to me that there's never been more off the field issues for the NFL than now, and it's never been more popular. So maybe it just doesn't matter.
Well, and if you, as a company or a league, your customers, fans, are outwardly questioning the integrity of the product, the games, there's a problem there. That's going to affect things. That's going to affect attendance. That's going to affect money. It's going to affect gambling, which the NFL endorses heavily now. They used to not even talk about it. It wasn't allowed. But now they have gambling partners, obviously, in the league. So that's a big deal to them. So it's something that's got to be fixed. You can't look, every fan's not going to be happy with every call. That's fine. But when there's a trend, when there is a noticeable trend that favors one team that just happens to be the best team, who could win 3 straight Super Bowls for the first time in the history of Super Bowls, it's an issue and it's got to be addressed. Everyone is waiting for it to be addressed.
So if Travis Kelce drops to a knee as the confetti falls and proposes to Taylor after the game,
vomit.
As everyone has predicted, and especially if there's like 2 really bad calls, and then and then somehow there's a shot of Vince McMahon in the commissioner's box. It's over.
Oh God.
It's over. It's over. It is over. Yeah. He wouldn't dare do that, would it, Travis?
There's no way. Oh, Travis would. Goodell wouldn't.
Maybe he would. Maybe he would.
He's been so wussified since they started dating. I don't know.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, let's hit all the comments. Appreciate you guys jumping in, commenting. We haven't got to you. My apologies. We'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing. If you have any issues with your plumbing, your AC, anything in the house whatsoever, they can fix it. And they do it right. They do it on time. Great technicians, honest over there. You get what you pay for. You won't be upsold an air conditioning unit or something you don't need. And that's great peace of mind to have somebody that will come to your house and fix just about anything. That's thirdgenerationplumbing.com is the name of the website. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes. we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to P. Peterson Show on this Thursday. Thank you guys for jumping in. Appreciate you very much. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Always the best place to get that diamond. If you're looking to get engaged or just looking to buy something for yourself, they got a great men's area as well that they just built or added on to, I should say. So if you're looking for, one of those baller watches that I wear, or some, it's a joke. If you have that kind of dough, they have a great selection of used and new ones that you can check out. And of course, the best place to buy that diamond, do not get a fake diamond. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, I have heard I was checking my text messages during the break, Timmy, and my son says there is a breaking story of a settlement between FSU, Clemson, and the ACC. And I also saw that the ESPN has picked up the option on the ACC through 2036. So I'm wondering if there has been some type of deal done. A settlement deal is done. Do you see anything on the interweb as to that?
Well, I would love to be able to look, JP, but my keyboard isn't working right now.
Oh, we are so challenged today.
What is happening?
I don't know. I think it's I think the moon and the planets are lining up, type of thing going on with that. Yeah. Or it's the deep state striking back. Gonna make
that's what it is.
Visible. Yeah. Cullen's texted me, but I can't read it while I'm on the air because I'm using the phone because our infrastructure is not working. But we're getting it done. We're getting it done, though, aren't we?
All right.
And I also want to
Clemson, FSU, and ACC.
Meanwhile, some of the comments that are coming in. Lonnie Wilkins says only if Hulk Hogan comes out and interrupts the proposal and drops Travis, brother. That would be fun. That's my girl, brother. And then he hops in there. John Hill says that Hunt, the Chiefs owner, sent a letter to NFL to ask that Tom Brady not be allowed to visit the Chiefs practices. I saw this. Was that for real? That report? Like, I can't, I have to triple check everything.
I'm still trying to find.
Yeah. So if that's true, how about that? Because I guess Brady did kind of criticize the officials in the Chiefs game. So I guess the Chiefs are getting a little ornery about this, huh?
They should be.
Why? They're getting all the calls.
I'm just talking about the Tom Brady thing.
You don't think he should be able to visit the practices?
No, I don't think he should be allowed to go into any of the facilities.
Well, I mean, he's an owner of another team. He's in.
It's a conflict, man. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and the fact that obviously Fox is an NFL partner. He's the biggest name in the game. Change all the rules for him. I mean, at what point? At what point? I think the owners are right to push back on this. It's an uber competitive game, and he is now. The word is that he handpicked John Spytek and Pete Carroll. So if he's literally running the franchise, and now you're giving him special access to go inside your building, and that's what these, typically. I mean, I've been in these production meetings when I used to do Bucs preseason, and we talk with the opposing coach. You'd sit down with the coaching staff and the leadership of the Buccaneers. And, you get inside stuff that you are trusted with to not, it's just as background for the game, like that you're not supposed to say on the game. Like, they'll tell you some things that they would not say publicly. And so now Brady comes in, he's a competitor. You can't reveal that information. So in the end, it's not great for the viewer. It's not great for the viewer.
No.
So, and let's face it,
Brady might not be good for the viewer overall anyway. I didn't think he was that bad as a broadcaster, and I thought he got better throughout the season. I still think he's just trying a little too hard. He's trying to be a little too Tom Brady, and it just doesn't sound natural to me. And I think I'm over.
I agree 100%. That's why I thought it would never work, because having dealt with Brady, and not like we got any one-on-one time with him at all. You understand that he's a bit of a phony. His public persona is very different from his private persona. And so I think that's going to eventually show through. And then there's the whole conflict thing. You either want to be an owner and a GM, which is basically what he is now for the Raiders. You imagine any other GM in this also being a broadcaster? Like, suddenly, hey, calling the game today with Chris Myers is Jason Light. And he's calling a Panthers Saints game. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Now, could you bring him in as a minority owner and he quote the general manager, but then you find out that he basically handpicked Spytek and Pete Carroll. So, yeah, that's bizarre.
That's
all right,
crazy. According to your ACC news, JP.
Yes.
ESPN has picked up its option on the ACC TV deal through 2036. Additionally, the league is working towards a new revenue distribution model to reward biggest brands that will keep Clemson and FSU in the fold.
All right, so this is the settlement that was long been talked about. So I guess what I guess here is that ESPN has sweetened the pot and added more money to the ACC deal, bringing it into more competitive framework. And the other league members have signed off on FSU and Clemson getting a bigger share of the revenue, which they should. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I can't wait to hear the details of that. But it also means that the FSU is staying in the ACC, which I'm not a big fan of.
Where would you have them go? You want them in the Big Ten, don't you?
I want them in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I want them in the Big Ten, which clearly is better than the SEC now.
Probably.
Oh, they were this year. Well, I don't know. It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell. I think there's just more parity across the leagues. But look, if that's what FSU's long-term goal was, and that's what FSU asked for in the beginning. They said, look, you guys have been sucking on the teeth of our brand for far too long. And now we've got to go compete with Florida and, compete with Alabama. You guys, like North Carolina, you're not doing that. NC State, you don't spend money on football because you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We care. And we want to be, we have a reputation of being a top 10, 15 program in football. And we want to compete for the national championships. Clearly, you guys, and that's been a problem for the Seminoles from day one of getting into the ACC. So this is it. And they finally had enough of it and said, look, if we're going to compete in this new wild, wild west of NIL, we need to make as much money as possible to get our salary cap up, right? So it's do or die, it's survival. And I think your program would have done the same thing. So they're finally getting what they asked for in the beginning, is to get their share of the revenue that they're producing so they can compete with these other big brands.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because the ACC is never going to make the same money as a league that the Big 12 or the Big 10 makes. It's never going to make the same money as a league that the SEC makes. So you have to give the bigger schools who are contributing the most to the league a bigger chunk of their and to make them want to stay. Otherwise, they'll just leave, and your league will go the way of the Pac-12. It'll go the way of the old Southwest Conference. It'll just go away. So
I think obviously there's concessions made by the other teams in the league, but so be it. That's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get to some of the comments here, partner? You got to put them up.
Yeah. No, I got them. Let's see. Let's start here at the top. Christopher Cole, prayers for the U.S. figure skating team and their families. Yes, we discussed that. It's a horrible tragedy there in D.C. that continues to unfold. Michael LaRue says, I don't know how to say his name. Haesong Kim. Haesong Kim is a great pickup. The Rays needed to add a bat. Payroll is now $90 million, down from last year's $99 million. Christopher Cole, Canales paid his dues in Seattle. Yeah, he cut his teeth there for sure. Yeah, there's no question. Thomas Casper, good morning to you. ESPN says Liam got $12 million per multi.
Yeah, $60 million guaranteed.
So
who's saying no?
Ridiculous.
Oh, but you ghosted your employer, and you're gonna wah.
Good for him.
Everybody, ever since this has come out, there's been more and more people bringing up, examples of what Liam did. Honestly, is just standard operating procedure in this. The Bucs have done it. Jason Light has done it. Everybody's done it. You do what you got to do to get the job done. And I'm not condoning it, but that's the business of the NFL. And if you want to play with the big boys, you better have the stomach to do it.
Yep. Michael LaRue, Victor Hedman named team captain of Sweden for the
Of course he was.
Who else was it going to be?
Yeah. Come on.
Bucs raise Bolts. If Bolts don't make playoffs this year, he gone. Yeah.
That's true. That is absolutely 100% true. And it was true the last 2 years, too.
It was. He was teetering.
The idea that Todd Bowles is some iconic coach that the Bucs would never fire, which I hear basically, I won't say iconic, but I'm like that he's super safe. I don't think that's true at all. Jeff Darlington, I think, backed me up on that with his article.
Yeah. Nathan Elliott, good morning to you, Nathan. Bucs need a Sioux-type D lineman to play next to Vita. Hall is another Golston. They need 3 D linemen, take on 5 offensive linemen, and win.
Disagree, Nathan. Elijah Cansey is an awesome compliment to Vita. Lightning and Thunder, Thunder and Lightning. What they need is some decent edge rushers on the outside. That's what they need, in my opinion. And a good inside linebacker.
Hernando's trolling again. So Ray's moving to Orlando.
That's so stupid. Who said every time it pops up? I'm just like, God, do we have to debunk this? They got no money. They got no stadium. They got no owner. They got nothing but a bunch of theme parks. And people that come, people are like, oh, with 70 million people visit every year, they go to the baseball games. No, they won't. They're there for theme parks. They come from all the places around the world. They have no interest in American baseball. None.
The Magic are barely hanging on out there.
Right. I mean,
and the Orlando Solar Bears.
Their soccer team, their MLS team doesn't draw. I mean, no. Orlando is never going to be an option.
Hernando also says if they build a stadium at the fairgrounds and it's not in the city of Tampa, which means no city money, it needs to be in the city, they need city and county money. I don't know where the fairgrounds are in Tampa.
They're not necessarily in the city limits, but the city can be part of the deal.
Yeah.
They may not need the city, and the city has never been the other deals. So yeah, the bed tax money is county money.
Christopher Cole, Bucs need to get cornerback, edge, DT, and middle linebacker either in free agency or in the draft. They have a lot of positions they're going to.
I would rank it edge, corner, middle linebacker. DT is not, and you can always use one.
It's not,
but I would. Yeah, I say edge, middle linebacker, corner. Those are my priorities. After that, it's best player available.
Nathan Elliott doesn't think the Bucs need a new stadium.
Are you out of your mind? You want to sit in that roaster oven in
Doesn't bother him.
October? I don't know where his seats are on the shade side, first level or first row of the upper level. So
he's already in the shade. He's good.
Not really. I guess part of the game. Yeah, maybe.
Thomas Casper. Unfortunately, today's fans demand luxury, cool and dry.
Yeah, that's
Everybody's
right.
Spoiled.
Yep, everybody's soft. Got to have air conditioning everywhere you go.
Christopher Cole's taking a shot at Brian Schottenheimer. Shotty wasn't even calling plays. No, I don't know that he's ever called plays. He called.
Is he going to call plays now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's going to be calling plays. He's the OC / head coach. Now he did call plays for 4 months in Jacksonville after Urban Meyer got fired, but I think that is his only experience calling plays.
And that went really well.
Yeah, that went really well. It went so well they kept him. Oh wait. Nathan Elliott, when I was at the game, I saw the fan base and they need to rename the team and call the stadium Mexico Cowboys. If the fans don't attend, move the team south of the border. Well, Nathan Elliott, that's just the population base we have in North Texas, okay? I'm sorry.
So with all the deported attendance is going down at Cowboys games.
I hope they're not criminals. We saw their last Cowboys game. Christopher Cole says RG3 says that they're doing nothing wrong. Okay, first of all, Christopher Cole, if you are listening to anything that Robert Griffin Jr. or Robert Griffin III is saying come out of his mouth,
who's not doing anything wrong?
I don't know who he's talking about.
Who's they?
But just don't listen to RG3 ever, okay? Just stop.
I kind of like him. I like him
as a dude, but his opinions are maybe the worst across.
He stood up against the power brokers at ESPN and paid for it. So I applaud him for that.
Just stop talking sports. That's all I'm asking him to do. Let's go hang out in Waco. Nathan Elliott, Jerry World Stadium is big and it's nice. Why no Super Bowl? The 60-40 Jumbotron is too big. NFL wants people to watch the game and not the Jumbotron. You know, it was a curiosity when they built it. It's still there. It's not the biggest anymore, by the way. It's not even close to the biggest anymore.
Right.
But it serves its purpose. It is still awkward when you're watching games at AT&T Stadium when they're showing players on the sidelines that are just doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
They're all looking up.
While they're running with the ball, they're looking up.
Yeah. It's just weird. Michael LaRue, Raymond James Stadium needs shade. Maybe they can do with it what they did down at Joe Robbie Stadium and just build shade panels for the roof.
Drone tarp.
Drone tarp. There you go. Nathan Elliott, NFL is an entertainment league and no longer a football league. The only competition is on the field. If the script conspiracy is real, there's a basis for it to be continued. Yeah, I don't believe there's a script, but I like talking about it because people get all out of shape about it.
But he's right. It is entertainment, and I'm sure at levels of board meetings, where, they would have people come in and say, well, if we can increase ratings and make more money by guiding where these games go and narratives, like they do in wrestling, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Because if people find out, then you lose all credibility that it's not a real competition. But
Colin Peterson says, thanks for the shout out, Dad.
you're the best, buddy. I love you.
There you
Come
go.
home. Come home.
And then
We need to get him a job at ReliaQuest.
There you go. Christopher Cole said Brady is, and this is the issue that I have. Brady's in the same division as the Chiefs with the Raiders. So there's a conflict there.
Huge conflict. That's what I said. If Jason Light was calling a Saints-Panthers game, you think they're going to let him in the building of both places? Hell to the no. No.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
There you go.
That's all of our comments. So great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you jumping in. All right. That'll do it for us today. Thank you all for joining us. If you missed anything, remember to go like and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, JP Peterson Show and Fan Sports. Also, like our podcast right now. Hit the like button. Like ding, 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 ding. Hit it a bunch of times. And please visit all of our sponsors down here and tell them you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. We will be back tomorrow. Josh Capo from the Pewter Report is going to join us. Guy who breaks down Bucs like nobody else. Love his stuff. He will be on with us tomorrow at 10:30. So we will see you then. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bolts. Whew.